Hi, I'm Matt here in Michigan.
And I'm Randall here in Texas. Today, Matt and I get the pleasure of bringing you a new movie review. Although it came out in 2020, it has trappings of the 1980s. It is Wonder Woman 1984. Stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, and Pedro Pascal. It is directed by Patty Jenkins, who also has a credit on the story of this movie. She is the director of Monster, the 2017 Wonder Woman, and is she slated as the director of the upcoming Cleopatra, also starring Gal Gadot, and Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
Now, in Wonder Woman 1984, an object brings back the person Wonder Woman loves the most, but this object is also causing problems around the world. Now she has to discover the truth behind it all. It has a $200 million budget and has earned more than $39 million at the box office. But this movie has been released in both theaters and on HBO Max, so box office numbers don't really tell the whole story about this. Wonder Woman 1984 has received average reviews from critics, but slightly above average to positive reviews from audiences. Now, Randall, this is a movie that I was looking forward to seeing in 2020. It was one of my most excited films to see. But, Randall, how did 1984 Wonder Woman turn out for you?
I have two pretty short and scathing things written down in my notes. Number one, completely detached from reality. And number two, felt like I was watching an episode of The DuckTales. Neither of which I feel are compliments to this film, to be honest. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to land in the very positive category on this one. But Matt, you were probably looking forward to this one more than me, so what did you think?
Yeah, I would say like my biggest word is probably disappointed. And part of it might be because I had such high hopes for this film. I was a real big fan of the first Wonder Woman film that Patty Jenkins directed, so I had real high hopes for it. But I don't know, it kind of falls back into I've been disappointed with a lot of like the DCEU, and I guess this is a standalone film. Maybe it's with the DCEU. Who really knows? I guess.
Warner Brothers, why you do this? Warner Brothers, why you do this?
I think if it goes with like more of the other like DCEU movies. Granted, I haven't seen them all. Some people said good things about Aquaman. I haven't really seen this film, but to me, the first Wonder Woman movie kind of stood out from those movies I really enjoyed. And I think a lot of the things that worked or did well for that first Wonder Woman movie weren't really in this film as much, and I was disappointed with that.
What's really a shame about this is one of the things I liked was, for the most part, all of the actors did a really good job, especially Chris Pine's character as Steve Trevor, who, if you've seen the original, wait, my earpiece fell out. If you had seen the original Wonder Woman, his character obviously dies near the end. It's no secret, because it was in the trailers, that he was coming back in this one. His portrayal of that character is really good. It's a very conflicted portrayal. I liked mostly what they did with Gal Gadot's acting. It's just, man, the plot lets down the characters. Pedro Pascal does a good job with what he's given. Kristen Wiig, I think, maybe is the weaker of the bunch, but she still does a really good job. Just the story wasn't quite there to live up to their actual portrayals of their characters.
Yeah, I would agree with that with the storyline. I would kind of differ a little bit on the actors. I think Chris Pine did a decent job, but for me, I think he was the weaker of the four. The two I really liked was Pedro Pascal and Kristen Wiig, and that's one of I think the positives of this movie. I think the villains in this movie are actually better than the villain in the first movie, the first Wonder Woman movie.
So I have to wholeheartedly disagree about the villains. I'm sorry. I agree that it was nice that what they did with the villains in this film was more humanizing of them, but I don't think that they're compelling villains, and they don't match Diana at all. They're not really a match for her. Physically, they have to do stuff in the story to make Diana more vulnerable than what you would expect the character to be. Emotionally is one thing, but physically is completely different. These villains don't stand up to her, in my opinion. it's a letdown because in the first movie she's literally fighting a Greek god and Ares, her father, and in this one it's like, oh, okay, cheetah, yep, cheetah.
Randall and I kind of joked about this off camera after we both watched this movie. It's a comic book movie, so because we're dealing with superheroes, they can do anything kind of thing, but the story it takes too much. There's too many liberties taken and stuff where things just happen and where you have to just dispel belief in it, but I just think there's too many of them that just takes me out of the movie in this.
All in all, without getting into too many spoilers, I found it just, as I said, completely detached from reality. And as you were pointing out, like, in a superhero movie, you can do anything. Well, here's the thing. When you're setting up a superhero franchise and you have the DCEU, which is or isn't, who the heck even knows anymore, because Warner Brothers certainly doesn't.
What am I doing?
You have to kind of have something that grounds it, something that makes some sort of sense. And this movie taking place in 1984, showing off some of the, let's just say, technologies that they do, I'm like, no, it's completely unrealistic. Because if you watch Justice League or Batman vs. Superman, which is in the same universe, you're like, those movies take place in, the 30 years after this one, and they don't even have that kind of technology. Boy, some of that stuff would have been really helpful, It's completely detached from even its own extended universe's movie reality, and I guess that throws me out of it more than anything.
One thing I do want to say about some things I liked, I did like the 2 opening scenes of this movie. Young Diana, I think that was a good scene to kind of set up the movie for her character Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman going out. And the second scene where we kind of see Wonder Woman in action a little bit, it kind of gave me feels of like old, like Christopher Reeve Superman a little bit. I don't know if that was intentional, but that is the feeling that I got, and I did like that. And not really spoiler, just letting you know, stick through the credits, watch the credits for this. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Man, when we did our review of Napoleon Dynamite, which I'll post above, just to disagree about something, we should have just done this one. The opening scene for this movie for me is completely pointless. Doesn't mean anything. You could cut it out. You wouldn't care. The scene that's right after that, which is just a second opening scene, and should have been the opening scene for the movie in general, in my opinion, was like 100% all in 1980s. And I wrote down that I hope to God, and thankfully it does, that this 1980s thing does not continue through the entire movie. It's okay to kind of be nostalgic about the 80s and be, haha, that's fun. But man, that opening was just like, here's the 1980s. Yeah. I think both of those opening sequences were kind of meh, especially the very beginning. I didn't like that at all. Just because it was pointless, not because of how it was filmed.
If we don't have that opening scene, how are we gonna know what lesson Diana's supposed to learn at the end of the movie?
That opening scene belongs in a origin story movie, not the follow-up one. There are positives, but I feel like some people are being nicer to this film than they will be off camera. Again, when we were talking about it, I said, the more you think about it, the worse your head's gonna hurt. And that's how I'm gonna sum it up. If you watch it and you sit down and you actually start thinking about things, you'll be like, wow, that don't make no sense.
Me personally, I don't think this is a horrible movie, but it definitely doesn't meet up to expectations or the first one. I would say it's kind of a meh movie at the best. Randall and I want to know what you guys think about Wonder Woman 1984. If you've seen it, let us know in the comments below. If you like our review, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified about when our next videos come out. We release videos every Monday and Thursday. Also be sure to check out our Facebook page. We post the day before our videos come out to let you know what the next topic is going to be. For now, I'm Matt here in Michigan. Have a good day.
And I'm Randall here in Texas. I'll see everyone in the next one.
Next time on No Market Media. please consider checking out some of our other videos.